happy that you're here. I'm here with Kirsten Scheidek, our operations coordinator, and the brains behind this. And Georgia Farouk, our executive director, is here as well. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Thrive, we are the Alliance of Nonprofits for San Mateo County, and we support the work of nonprofits. And specifically, we wanted to do this and create this whole series over the course of the year to support all of your hard work, because we realize that nonprofits have really borne a lot of the brunt of this pandemic, and specifically the staff is very worn out, and we really wanted to do something to help give you some strength back and some laughter back. So we are a membership-based organization. We do a lot of different things. This is one of the things we do. In addition, we do policy and advocacy work. We do a lot of cross-sector collaboration. We do a lot of nonprofit capacity building. Specifically, there are a couple of events that we have coming up that we wanted to share with you. Our events at this point are all free and open to everyone. In San Mateo County, we've been working very closely with the elections office to make sure that everyone gets access to voting. And we have monthly meetings, and they are everyone is welcome. So the next one is next Wednesday. In addition, we realize that in addition to the stress of the pandemic, there's also a lot of questions, especially with the new surge. The new surge has brought up questions around HR, questions around testing, questions around really how to run your nonprofit. So we are having just a quick 1 hour to talk about how to address those issues. And we have Dr. Curtis Chan from San Mateo County Health, who's going to answer a lot of those questions. We also have the operations coordinator and operations manager from Ability Path to talk about what they've done to address the surge and what in their own workplace. So hopefully that'll be a good learning for people. Our next event that I wanted to talk about is from our Environment and Sustainability Action Group. We're going to be talking about energy efficient homes and net zero buildings. It came out of a 6-month-long process of figuring out what environment and sustainability goals we wanted to have as a county. And so we're going to be talking to the people who are already working on this and figuring out how we can work together to be more efficient. And then this series is part of a year-long series. And we hope you can join us for more than just this one. If you have any questions, or if you're not on our mailing list and would like to be on our mailing list so you can know about all of these things that are happening, please let us know. If you want to all take just a second to introduce yourself in chat, it's always nice to know who's in the room. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kirsten to introduce Alyssa.
Hi, again, my name is Kirsten Scheidek. I'm the operations coordinator with Thrive. I just want to quickly introduce Alyssa Stanford. She's here with the San Mateo County wellness team, and she's going to lead us through a few exercises for self-care.
Thank you. So I'm actually going to have our wellness coordinator, Melissa Wong, start us off with a body scan. But I just want to encourage everybody here today to practice some of these activities after today's meeting. When you are feeling those moments of acute stress, you just saw something in the news, you just had a really long work day, you just worked with a community member and it was really triggering. These are some great exercises for you to do to kind of get you out of that fight or flight state. So I'll turn it over to Melissa, but I just kind of want you to tuck into the back of your mind how super quick and relatively simple these things are, and we hope you'll do them again.
Thank you so much, Alyssa. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Melissa Wong. I'm the wellness coordinator with San Mateo County, and I work very closely with Alyssa. I'm so excited to be here with you to practice all of these self-care activities this afternoon. So we're going to start with the body scan. So for the next 10 minutes, we're going to enjoy some rest and relaxation. The body scan is really a nice relaxation technique we can use any point in time of our day, and it can just really help us tune into our body sensations as a way of grounding ourselves in the present moment. It could also help us have better quality rest and sleep if we want to practice that in the evening as well. And so, when our minds are racing, our bodies are tense, this technique can really help bring relaxation to our mind and our muscles. So why don't we go ahead and get comfortable in our seat? And you can actually do this lying down as well, but it's up to you. So go ahead and get comfortable in a comfortable position, allowing yourself to begin to sink comfortably into the surface below you. And perhaps gradually letting the eyes float closed if that's comfortable for you. Or you can maintain a soft gaze in front of you, whichever is most comfortable. And from here, turning your attention to your breath. Breathing in, allowing the breath gradually to go all the way down to your belly. And then breathing out, exhaling through the mouth. And again, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Just noticing the natural rhythm of your breathing. And now allowing your attention to focus on your feet. Starting with your toes, notice whatever sensations are there. Warmth, coolness, whatever's there. Simply feel it. Imagine that as you breathe in, the breath goes all the way down to your toes, bringing with it new, refreshing air. And now noticing the sensations elsewhere in your feet. Not judging or thinking about what you're feeling, but simply becoming aware of the experience of your feet as you allow yourself to be fully supported by the surface below you. Next, focusing on your lower legs and knees. These muscles and joints do a lot of work for us, but often we don't give them the attention they deserve. So now breathe down into the knees, calves, and ankles, noticing whatever sensations appear. See if you can simply stay with the sensations. Breathing in new, fresh air as you exhale, releasing tension and stress, and allowing the muscles to relax and soften. Now moving your attention to the muscles, bones, and joints of the thighs and hips. Breathing down into the upper legs, noticing whatever sensations you experience. It may be warmth, coolness, a heaviness, or a lightness. You may become aware of the contact with the surface beneath you, or perhaps the pulsing of your blood. Whatever's there, what matters is that you're taking time to learn to relax. Deeper and deeper as you breathe in and out. Moving your attention now to your back and your chest. Feeling the breath fill the abdomen. Chest. Noticing whatever sensations are there. Not judging or thinking, but simply observing what is right here, right now. Allowing the fresh air to nourish the muscles, bones, and joints as you breathe in. And then exhaling out any tension and stress. And now focusing on the neck, shoulders, arms, and hands. Inhaling down through the neck and shoulders, all the way down to the fingertips. Not trying too hard to relax, but simply becoming aware of your experience of these parts of the body in the present moment. Turning now to your face and head. Notice the sensations beginning at the back of your head, up along your scalp, and down into your forehead. Then become aware of the sensations in and around your eyes and down into your cheeks and jaw. Continue to allow your muscles to release and soften as you breathe in nourishing fresh air, and allow tension and stress to leave as you breathe out. As you breathe in that fresh air, just allowing it to spread throughout your body, from the soles of your feet all the way up through the top of your head. And then exhale any remaining stress and tension. And now just taking a few moments here to enjoy the stillness as you breathe in and out. Awake, relaxed, and still. Now, as the body scan comes to a close, slowly bringing your attention back to the room, bringing with you whatever sensations of relaxation, comfort, and peace. Whatever's there, knowing that you can repeat this exercise at any time and place of your choosing. And just on your own time, when you're ready, just blinking open your eyes and welcoming yourself back to this space. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Melissa. I'm like so relaxed now, though, that I'm gonna do progressive muscle relaxation. That was lovely. Thank you so much. Okay, so kind of stay super comfortable in your chair. We're gonna go into another relaxation technique called progressive muscle relaxation. Some of you may have done this before. This is one of my favorite relaxation exercises because you can really do it anywhere. You can do it in the car, well, not with your legs because you need them for the pedals and things like that, but you can do it while commuting, you can do it at work, you can do it at home. So progressive muscle relaxation has similar benefits as a body scan. It does relax you and help with sleep disturbances. It also helps decrease anxiety and depression. There have been a ton of studies on it recently. For some reason in 2019 and 2020, they started doing a lot of research on it, but it's been around since 1920. And the reasoning behind it is, or kind of the thought behind it is, if we relax the body, it may help relax the mind. And it turns out that that's true. So what you're going to do is find a comfortable position in your chair. And we're just going to go muscle group by muscle group. We're going to tense and release. So I like to scoot all the way back in my chair. And if you have one of those really good chairs with lower back support, I want you to really relax the upper body and your belly and feel the lower back contact every inch of surface of the pad in your chair. Your eyes can be open or closed for this exercise. It doesn't matter. You're going to put your hands in your lap, palm up. You're going to put your feet about hip width apart, and you're going to step them forward just a little bit away from your chair. Starting with our right fist, we're going to sit up nice and tall, and then we're going to squeeze our right fist as hard as we can. I want you to squeeze, 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 squeeze with every ounce of strength you have in that fist. Tightly closed fist, you can't even get air in there. And then slowly open and completely relax. We're going to do the same thing with the right arm. You're going to touch your shoulder and you're going to squeeze that bicep. Squeeze it as hard as you possibly can. Imagine you're at the gym trying to lift 100 pounds. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Feel every inch of that muscle working for you. Maybe it's getting warm. And slowly release. Go ahead and let that arm completely drop into your lap. So fully relaxed and heavy hand, forearm, and arm. Let's move on to the left side, squeezing that fist as hard as you possibly can, using all the muscles in your fingers, your hand, your wrist, squeeze, 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 squeeze. No air in there, tightly closed fist, and relax. Going to the left arm, touching your shoulder and squeezing that bicep. Squeeze as hard as you can. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Squeeze a little bit harder, even harder than that. And relax. Drop that arm in your lap. Heavy hand, heavy arm. So the right fist is open. The hand is totally relaxed and heavy in your lap. The forearm, the upper arm. The left fist is open, heavy in your lap, forearm and upper arm. Now we're going to take both shoulders. Don't let your hands come off your lap. Squeeze your shoulders as hard as you can, no neck. Bringing your shoulders up to your ears. Squeeze, 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 and carefully drop them down. Shoulders are relaxed, arms are relaxed. Moving on to our belly. Pull that belly button in really, really tight. See if you can pull that belly button toward your spine like you're trying to squeeze into pants that are too tight. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze all the abdominal muscles from your ribs to the top of your hips, pulling it in and release. Really let your belly relax completely into your lap. Let your belly push against the waistband of your pants. So our arms are relaxed, our shoulders are relaxed, our belly is soft and relaxed. Let's just take a moment to think about where we're breathing. Are we bringing our breath all the way deep down into that soft and relaxed belly? Moving into the lower body, we're going to pick up our right toes, pull them up toward the ceiling, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. So your shin, the front of your lower leg, should be contracted. Pulling those toes up, up, up toward the ceiling as hard as you can. And drop the foot. The foot is heavy and completely relaxed on the ground. Then you're going to straighten that right leg all the way. So it should be about a foot off the ground. Straighten your leg and squeeze your quadriceps muscle. Squeeze that muscle very powerfully. You should feel it pulling on your kneecap. Use all the strength in that quadricep muscle. Squeeze, 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 and drop it. Good. That leg should be completely relaxed and heavy, feeling the whole weight of the leg pushing into the seat of your chair. the whole weight of your foot pushing into the ground. Moving on to the left side, pull those toes up as hard as you can. Use those shin muscles. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And keep squeezing a little bit harder than that. Using all of the strength in the front of the leg. Make sure you're feeling it working really, really tight. Lots of tension in that muscle, warming up, and drop it. Moving on to the quadriceps muscle. Straighten that leg all the way. Start squeezing that thigh muscle as hard as you can. Think about how you would use that muscle for running or deep squats, lifting heavy things. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Big, powerful muscle. Squeezing it as hard as you can. And release. Drop that leg down toward the ground. Now both feet are relaxed. Shins are relaxed. Calves are relaxed. The legs are heavy and pushing fully into the seat of your chair. Last, in the lower body, we're going to squeeze our glutes. So think about squeezing your bottom. It might pop you up a little bit out of your chair. Squeeze your bottom and hold. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze as hard as you can. Imagine getting up from the chair. Those are the muscles that you're using. Squeezing your bottom as hard as you can. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Waking these ones up. These ones might be asleep from sitting on them. Squeezing as hard as you can. Couple more seconds and relax. Our bottom is relaxed. Our belly is relaxed. Our feet are heavy, pushing into the ground. Our legs are relaxed, pushing into the seat of our chair. Our shoulders are down away from our ears. Our hands are heavy and relaxed in our lap. Our belly is soft and pushing against the waistband of our pants. Bringing our awareness back to our breath and pulling that breath all the way deep into the belly. Moving away from the heavy and relaxed lower body, mid body, upper body, and moving into our face. Go ahead and gently close your eyes. Start with your eyebrows, squeezing your eyebrows together as hard as you can. Squeeze, 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 really angry face, mean face. Knit those eyebrows together and release. Releasing all the tension from our forehead, our eyebrows, our thoughts. Next, I want you to clench your jaw. Be careful, but clench your jaw. Lots of tension in the jaw. Squeezing the teeth together. Working the muscles in the cheeks. Squeeze, 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 and relax. Take your tongue, push the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth. Push as hard as you can, using all the muscles in your tongue. Push, push, push the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth. Keep pushing. Keep pushing, feeling all the muscles in the tongue working. Push as hard as you can. You're not going to hurt yourself. And release. Go ahead and let your tongue relax into a comfortable position in your mouth. Oftentimes, this is slid back in the mouth toward your throat. So our jaw is relaxed and slightly open. Our forehead and eyebrows are relaxed. Our tongue is relaxed back in our mouth. Moving to our eyes, squeeze your eyes shut as hard as you possibly can. Squeeze, 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 scrunch up the whole face, squeeze those eyes. And when we release, we're going to keep them gently closed. Slowly release. Releasing all the tension in our forehead, eyebrows, eyelids, cheeks, jaw, tongue. Moving on to our ears, pulling in a couple deep belly breaths. Thinking about any tension we may have in our ears, drop the ears down, relax the scalp, release any tension in your throat and your neck. On your next couple of belly breaths, imagine pulling air all the way down into your feet. Again, the feet are completely relaxed and heavy, pushing into the ground. Drawing breath into the upper legs that are heavy and completely relaxed into the seat of your chair. Drawing breath into your belly and your bottom, completely relaxed and soft. Drawing breath into your neck and your shoulders, drop down away from your ears, heavy hands and forearms in your lap. Bringing breath into our face, eyebrows and forehead are relaxed, eyes are relaxed, jaw, teeth, cheeks, lips, tongue, ears, scalp. A couple more deep belly breaths on every exhalation, letting go of any additional tension in any of the muscles in your body. One more deep belly breath all together. Exhaling any remaining muscle tension. Okay, thank you. So if your eyes are still closed, you can slowly blink them open. Hopefully you found that helpful. And again, you can just about do that anywhere. Tense and release. So next up, I'm going to share a PowerPoint presentation with you all, and I would like us to do an exercise together. And I'll give you a little bit of background on why I want you to do this exercise. So in all the years that I've been working in the space of wellness, I see person after person who has the best intentions of making big changes. Like they want to decrease their stress, they want to lose weight, they want to have better work-life balance, they want to work on, their mental health, they want to reverse recently diagnosed diabetes. They have all of these incredible and powerful goals that I 100% support them in, but they tend to kind of start up and then stop and start up and stop, and progress is made and then we take a step back, and progress is made and we take a step back, and they start to feel like they're never going to reach that goal. And so I kind of wanted to just talk about how we can stay motivated throughout the lifespan toward whatever goals are most important to you. And what we're kind of calling it is finding your why. So I'm going to share my screen and feel free. I feel like we have a small enough-ish group. If you can unmute and just yell questions at me along the way, or you can drop them into the chat. You will need a piece of paper and a writing utensil. Or if you have like a notepad or some sort of software on your computer that you can use instead. If you're trying to save paper, that's fine too. Paint might be better than Word, but you'll see in a moment why. Okay. Okay, so finding your why. So why? So I just said I really want to help you all achieve these goals. Everything that you want to do, everything that you set out to do is attainable. And I hope to convince you of that today. If that thing is that you're going to come to this self-care series for the entire series, I promise you that that's going to happen for you. So we're finding our why because it can help us with goal creation. It helps us kind of figure out what are our goals. I have been saying my New Year's resolution for the last 20 years, my goal is to lose 30 pounds. Is that really my goal? And then achieving our goals, finding our why can also help us with our life purpose. And in turn, if we are if we're doing actions that align with our life's purpose every day, then most likely we're going to have a fulfilling life. And if we have a fulfilling life, most likely we're going to achieve optimal well-being. So these are the things that we are looking toward with finding our why. And again, unmute or drop things in the chat if you have questions. Okay, so I thought this quote was kind of nice. He who has a why to live for can bear almost any how. We're going to talk about the difference between why and how in a moment. So let's go ahead and get started. So you need your piece of paper or your program on your computer. The first thing that I would like you to do is a short paragraph on what you're good at. Now, if you're super type A like me, maybe that's a list. If you're feeling a little bit more creative, you can draw this out however you would like, but just take a moment to identify what are you good at. If we were in, a traditional job interview, it might be, what are your strengths? And then after you identify some things that you're good at, and these are things that you can be good at work, these can be things that you're good at in your personal life. These can be things you're good at in your relationships, things that you're proud of accomplishing, where you feel like you have personality traits that lend themselves toward accomplishing similar things in the future. So kind of think outside of the box, like everything that makes you feel good about yourself. Then the second thing, and I want you to create some space on your document. So a little break. The second group or list that I would like you to write out are your values. So this may be things like community, since we're all working for nonprofits, or it might be family, honesty, altruism, things like that. And if you need a little bit of guidance for what your values are, you're having a hard time articulating yourself, here's just a list with some suggestions. And these are just suggestions. You may have all sorts of values that aren't on this list, and I do want you to write them down and identify them. Okay, after you make your list of values, then I want you to create a little space again, and a little bit more relevant to what we're doing today with our stress management or stress reduction, self-care activities are, what are your health and well-being goals? And when we think about well-being, there's so many aspects of that. It's not only physical health and things like blood pressure, but also our mental, emotional health, our intellectual health, our social health. So you can think outside the box for this one as well, just like when we're thinking about what we're good at. What are our goals in many different areas of our life to help with our overall health and well-being? Okay, so hopefully you have a couple things written down for each of these sections. Now I want us to dig a little bit deeper. So why are those your goals? So sometimes in health and wellness, if someone says, oh, I want to lose weight. Oh, why do you want to lose weight? Oh, well, you know, my clothes just don't fit as well. And I hate that I don't get to wear my favorite things. And I've got some events coming up, family reunions, high school reunions, whatever the case may be. And I want to be able to wear a certain outfit. And while that seems like a good why at the time, it's not a powerful and sustaining why. Because at some point, if it's just too difficult to lose 30 pounds, because it requires a ton of self-discipline and food prep and exercise and eating all the fruits and vegetables, then we'll just go buy bigger clothes. We'll just say to ourselves like, oh, you know, that part of the wardrobe is just not accessible to me anymore, and we'll move on. Same thing with, why do you want to lose 30 pounds? Oh, I'm tired of my knees aching. I know if I'm a little bit lighter, my knees aren't going to bother me as much. If at some point it becomes too burdensome to work toward that weight loss, then we're just going to start taking Advil or Tylenol for arthritis. Or we're going to start relying on a knee brace, or, you know, go to the orthopedic doctor and get the cortisone injections. Or so I want you to ask yourself why, and then I want you to ask yourself why again, and then I want you to ask yourself why again. So let's start off with those kind of things that are happening in the short term, kind of the more surface level answers to why is that our goal. Then I want you to get a little bit deeper and a little bit deeper. And to help through this process, I want to see, can we connect it to your values? So if you say, I want to lose 30 pounds, oh, I'm not happy with my body right now. Okay, let's think about some of your values. You really value family. Let's say you have children or grandchildren that are of an age where they're very active. Can we connect our weight loss goal to wanting to keep up with our kids or grandchildren? And I promise you that no matter how hard it gets, wanting to have a meaningful connection and quality time with your children and grandchildren, if family is very important to you, is always going to be worth it. Fitting into the pants that are too tight might not, but having the energy to keep up with your family and to have a healthy relationship with your family is going to. So take a moment to look at your goals and your values, which should be stacked right on top of each other on your piece of paper, and see where can we make some connections. And if it helps, draw some arrows, use a highlighter, circle, write out a little story to the side about how these are connected. What would be great reminders for you? Is it good to have sticky notes? Is it good to have a journal? Is it good to just write out what we're doing today and post it somewhere for you to reflect on later? But how can we kind of bring our goals and values into alignment and then remind ourselves of that and use that as a very powerful long-term motivator? And then the next thing that I want you to do is look at the very top of our document where you identified the things that you're good at, and see if you can use any of those special talents, skills, and abilities to help you with some of the actions that will help you achieve your goals. So let's say you're really good at giving back to the community, and one of your goals is weight loss, and you realize that you have a goal of weight loss because one of your values is community, and you want to continue to be there to support your community. And in order to do that, you have to be in good health. And so can you use volunteering to walk dogs at an animal shelter to get you closer to your goal of weight loss, which gets you closer to living a life as your authentic self, which is someone who gives back? It all is connected. It's all yummy, feel good stuff. Okay, so I'm going to give you about another minute to see if you can draw some arrows, make some circles. Okay, so now I want you to flip that piece of paper over, or if you're using something on a computer, scroll way down, open a new document, and I want us to draw. So as I said, you may have to switch to Paint or a virtual whiteboard if you're doing it on a computer. And what do I want you to draw? I want you to draw your ideal self. And when you think about your ideal self, I want you to think about way more than just what you physically look like. So your ideal self, what kind of health are you in? How's your overall well-being? And when we think about health and well-being, not only are we thinking about aesthetics, like, oh, it would be nice to be at a healthy weight, but also how do we feel inside that body? Do we feel energetic? Do we feel powerful? Do we feel confident? Do we feel like we can perform? If I get out of the car, I can sprint to something that I, need to accomplish. If the elevator breaks down, can I go 10 flights of stairs? Like, how does that body feel and perform? And how does it behave? So if one of your core values is relationships, really positive, meaningful relationships, but you're not feeling good in your body's not working the way you want it to, you've got some health conditions you're dealing with, medications that you're taking, sleep deprivation, you're probably not able at all times to be kind, patient, and caring in your relationships. So you need your body to be healthy and well in order for you to behave in a way that aligns with your value of relationship. Is that making sense what I'm saying? And then the other things that I want you to consider when you're drawing this picture of your ideal self are, what do your relationships look like? Are they stronger and closer than they are now? Are they exactly how they are now? You're really happy with all of the relationships that you have in your life? Are some of them more distant? Maybe we're working right now personally on setting better boundaries. So what do our relationships look like? What does our employment look like? Maybe we're all doing exactly what we want to do. Like, we're all in an incredibly rewarding fields, right? But are we looking to have better work-life balance? Are we looking to have a better relationship with our direct supervisor? So what does employment look like? And then what else is going on in your life? If you secretly have a passion for singing, but you're super, super shy, does your ideal self go to karaoke every night? If, whatever your creative outlet is, something maybe you haven't done in years and years, something that totally feeds your soul, makes you feel good, you haven't carved out time for it recently, or you're not sure how good you are at it anymore. Does that exist in your life when you're thinking about your ideal self? Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple more minutes to really think about, and I don't want to say perfect because nobody's perfect, but I want you to think about what the best possible version of you looks like, and fill in any other things that might not be on this list, things other than your health, your relationships, your job, your hobbies. So while you're writing that out, I'll give you some super personal examples. So for me, when I'm thinking about my why and I'm thinking about my ideal self, my why I do anything and everything in life, all the goals that I set, everything about employment, all has to do with healing people. That's kind of what I feel to be my life purpose. And in turn, that heals me. So it's this beautiful symbiotic relationship. And the reason, and a lot of times we have a personal narrative, things that have happened to us in our lives that kind of brings us to our why. But the reason that healing people is so important to me is I know what it feels like to be really sick in mind and body. So I'm someone who struggled for decades with depression and anxiety. I have an autoimmune disorder. I have PTSD. So for me, it's incredibly important to have a life centered around healing others and myself. And in order to do that, I have to be patient, kind, present. It would be very difficult for me to help people through their journey if I couldn't be right in the now, very kind of mindful and focused and present and patient and really listen and be open to them and their stuff instead of just kind of prescribing if-then scenarios for everyone like they're, cookie cutter people. So anytime I'm setting health or wellness goals, professional goals, relationship goals, they're always going to support my ability to have optimal physical and mental well-being so that I can be present and I can be active and set a good example for my clients and for myself. And that can help us through our healing. So for you, when you're thinking about your why, life's purpose, values, ideal self. So maybe that losing 30 pounds isn't really the goal anymore. And we'll come back to this in a moment. I don't know if any of you saw Simon Sinek's TED Talk or read his book, Start With Why. But what we start to transition to is your ideal self is really your goal. And losing 30 pounds might get you closer to that ideal self. Or maybe just being more active, having better physical health and performance gets you closer to your ideal self. Or, like I said, taking less medications, getting more sleep, managing your stress better, improving your relationships. There are so many different combinations that can get you closer to your ideal self. But we move away from sort of the smaller goals, which we're going to break down in a moment. And those are going to become our day-to-day actions that we can take just a couple minutes a day to get us closer and closer to our real goal, which is becoming your ideal self. And then what we've been saying before are losing weight, getting more sleep, cutting out toxic people, changing our commute. That's our how. That's how we're getting to our goal. And then writing out the super small, and we want very realistic, teeny, tiny daily changes, not daily changes, but tiny changes. We're going to practice them every day until we're ready to make even more. That's our what. So we've got our what, our how, and our why. And I'll go back to Simon Sinek. He was a gentleman that did a TED Talk on what drives innovation and what drives the most successful companies. And then it kind of spiraled into how people can find purpose, and not only in their career, but in their personal lives, and how they can be successful and things like that. This is kind of what he showed, is that the what are the actions that you're taking, the how are your special talents and abilities, using them to get you closer to your why, which is your purpose, what's driving you, why you wake up in the morning. And he said that this mimics how the brain works. So this should feel really natural and really good to us, because this is how our brain works. And this is kind of a mirror of how the brain works and how finding our why works. Okay, so quick summary, and then we can talk, we can have all kinds of good conversation. So our goals really, our dream, and it was kind of fun, Simon Sinek said in his TED Talk that Martin Luther King had a dream, not a plan. So our dream is to become our ideal self. And this is attainable, period, end of story. That's driven by our values and our life purpose. We can use our special talents and abilities to achieve our goal, which is becoming our ideal self. We can set plans with small, realistic steps taken daily to get closer to our ideal self and live a life true to our values. And our goal is lifelong, sustainable, worth it. And it will never be overtaken by lack of time, resources, or motivation. Your ideal self is always going to be your ideal self. And so you're going to have good days and bad days. You're going to have days where you just really feel like you can't do the healthy behaviors that you set out to do. But that motivation, that drive is always there. The ideal self is always there. You don't have to worry about it being an event coming up that you're trying to, a doctor's appointment coming up that you're trying to perform for, a review at work that's coming up that you're trying to perform for. This is lifelong, who you are, why you do what you do. And it actually has some similarities with the Japanese concept of ikigai. I don't know if any of you all have seen any TED Talks or read any books about this concept, but it also kind of helps you identify what you're good at, what you're passionate about, and then how that can fill a need that the world has. And it ties it into things like life purpose, but also your profession, and getting paid for doing things that identify really closely with your core values anyway, and use your special talents, skills, and abilities. So I will just let you all know that there is a short video on Ikigai if you want to learn more about that. There's a TED Talk from Simon Sinek, and then there's just a Better Up article about goal setting. But what do we do? Okay, so we just had like this super heavy task of writing out all these incredible things, drawing our ideal self, trying to dream big, using that ideal self to fuel absolutely everything that we do. And so what do we do after today's meeting, right? Like, this is big. So the first thing is using the piece of paper that we created today, or if it's a document on your computer, please save it. Don't just hit close and don't save. So write out the dream. What's the dream? And then write out a plan for achieving the dream. And this plan is tiny things. It's not like, oh, my ideal self. My ideal self is, like I said, for me, it's someone who has the ability to heal others, which in turn heals me, which is just incredible. So that's like big. So I'm not going to say in my plan that in order to do that, I need to go run and get the perfect mental health and the perfect physical health and all this extra time and all these additional continuing education courses. It would be absolutely overwhelming. So I want you to just kind of pick out one tiny thing that can get you closer to that dream. And how can you turn it into a daily activity that takes just a few minutes? So first we've got our dream, then we've got our plan, and then you're going to identify resources, because we're all going to have days, even though that big dream never changes. It's always there. It's always powerful. It's always a part of us. We are going to have times where we're less motivated. We are going to have times where we're super overwhelmed, where something devastating happens in our personal life, or work is like, our work days are getting longer and longer. So what are resources and a support system to help us continue to make these daily choices that get us closer and closer to that dream? Do we have accountability buddies that we can text? Do we have a therapist we can start working with? Do we have a gym class that we can join that actually charges you every single class? And so then if you don't go, that's like just painful. So what are some things, so some resources in our support system? And then from your plan, go ahead and start making those little teeny tiny changes. Okay. Any questions? Anyone kind of want to talk through? I know we kind of like went from concept to concept to concept. Does anyone want to talk through any of it? And I'll check the chat too. Okay. Well, if you happen to have questions after today, you're really thinking that finding your why makes a lot of sense for you, that it's going to help you in your personal and professional life, that it's going to help you achieve your health and well-being goals. But this was just kind of like an appetizer and you need help with the main course, you can always reach out to me. Or as I said, there are a ton of resources out there. Reach out to a therapist, a life coach, someone in a complementary field to wellness. Okay, so thank you for humoring me. This is one of the things that I'm just super passionate about because I feel so lucky to kind of know what I'm trying to do with my time and, you know, why I do what I do. So I feel really, really lucky and I want everybody to feel just as sure. But we're going to go from heavy to really lighthearted and we're going to do some laughter yoga. So let me give you all a quick bio break and I'm actually going to move to a different location where I can get really loud and just laugh uncontrollably here. So I'm going to turn my camera off for a minute and move to a different part of the house. Okay, so we'll give everyone like one more minute. I see in the chat, does the support system have to be a person, people? In the strict definition that I know of, it tends to be a group of people, but it doesn't have to be someone that you ever meet in person. So like a peer support group, a Facebook group, something like that might work. There are some apps like health and wellness apps that have accountability built in where they have different alerts or different journal entries for you to do. There's some great actually behavioral health apps that have you do journaling and just kind of check in with you and keep an eye on you. And I think that's awesome and maybe equivalent, but in my background, when we think of a support system, we tend to think of it as people. But if anyone else is an expert in that field, and maybe you can unmute and share with us if you have a different, some different options of what a support system might be.
I was just going to say it could be the daily habits that you set up for yourself as well. So, for example, you could set up exercising every day or 2 to 3 times a week. You could set up your, I do Duolingo every morning. You could set up, you know, little things like that to help you keep going. Brain building type habits and apps that you can use as well are out there that help you stay focused and get your mental acuity up as well. Anyway, just some ideas.
I love those ideas. I think, yeah, those are all super great tools. So I think when I think about a support system, who do we have to double check that we're engaging in those behaviors? So you have this incredible app, you have this great exercise routine, you have your Duolingo, all of those are so awesome. If something changes and you fall out of those habits, who do you have to rely on to talk about that or to check in and make sure that it is replaced with other healthy behaviors, or to help you remember your dream of your ideal self and how important that is? Yeah, those are great. I should probably start using my Duolingo a little more. Okay, so we're going to get really, really, really silly. So a training that I did a few years ago, It's called laughter yoga. I'm a laughter yoga leader. When I went down, it was in Southern California. When I flew down there, I didn't know what to expect. And I have to tell you, the first day where we were just laughing and laughing and laughing, I looked around like, what are we doing? But after 3 days of it, it is one of the most incredible things I have ever done. It was transforming. And so I want to share it with you. There aren't a ton of laughter yoga resources. You can find short YouTube videos and you can get some benefits from that. But if it's something that resonates with you as a great health tool and stress reduction tool, I would look up a local group. I imagine most of them have gone virtual during the pandemic. It used to be in person, and that was kind of cool to actually physically bump into people in the room while you're laughing and doing these different exercises. But I'm sure that there are virtual options to keep us all safe. And if you just do a simple search for laughter yoga groups, they are everywhere. You can't get rid of us. So we're gonna start. Laughter yoga essentially triggers lots of deep breathing. So if you go watch a funny movie, you're going to have short bursts of laughing, but you're probably not going to laugh continuously for minutes at a time. Same thing if you go to a comedy show, lots and lots of laughing the whole time, but probably not continuously. It's just chuckles at a time. When we do this continuous voluntary laughter and we get into a series of deep breathing, then we start to do things like decrease stress, improve immune system, decrease pain. So we oftentimes see laughter yoga groups in hospitals and helping people deal with things like cancer. It's just such a powerful medicine. So you can stand up if you want, and it looks like most people have their camera off, so no one will know if you stand up and run around the room. And the first thing that I want us to do is just kind of shake out your arms, shake out your legs, start preparing the body for lots and lots of laughing and silliness. And next, I want us to take a couple laughter breaths. So we're going to inhale all together, and on our exhale, we're going to go ho, 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 very deep, a deep belly laugh. Ready? Inhale. Ho, ho, ho. Couple more times. Inhale. Ho, ho, ho. One more time. Inhale. Ho, ho, ho. Now we're going to go into a very high-pitched laughter, which is going to be ha, ha, ha. So we're going to inhale all together, and we're going to exhale on ha, ha, ha. Ready? Inhale. Ha, 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 ha. Couple more times. Inhale. Ha, 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 ha. One more. Inhale. All right, maybe my silly laughter's already got you laughing. All right, we're going to move on to acupressure. So you're going to put your palms together and your fingers together and really feel all the surface of your fingers on your other fingers. And we're going to combine that ho, ho, and a ha, ha, ha. So how it's going to go is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Ready? Okay. So we're going to go ho, ho, ha, 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 ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. One more time. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Good. Okay. So we're going to do some more clapping. Same concept, lots of connection here, fingers on fingers. And we're going to go very good, yay. So at the end of each of our laughter exercises, to end it, you're going to see me go very good, yay. And then I want you to follow along, okay? So it's like this. Very good, yay. Let's do it one more time. Very good, yay. Perfect. Okay. Now I would like everyone to unmute. So, do I have the ability to do that? Let's see. Got mute all. Do I have an unmute all? Oh, here we go. Ask all to unmute. Okay. So now things are going to get loud. I love it. Okay, here we go. So it's gonna get really loud. So the first thing I want us to do is be an animal. You can pick any animal. You can be an elephant, you can be a monkey, you can be a kitty cat, you can be a dog, whatever animal you want to be. And the noise that that animal makes is laughter. Ready? So everyone taking a big breath. Figure out what your animal is and go. Okay, new animal, new animal. I'm a big giraffe. Very good, very good. Yay! One more time. Very good, very good. Yay! Perfect, okay. Ooh, someone's got a little bit of feedback. Okay, next one. So next thing we're gonna do is ants in our pants. So I want you to pretend that you are out somewhere and they have those big, angry red ants, and the ants started crawling all over you, but instead of biting you, they made you laugh. Okay, so everybody's gonna go stomping through ants. They're gonna get ants in their pants and they're gonna start laughing. Ready? Big breath. And go. Very good, very good. Yay! One more time. Very good, very good. Yay! Okay, we're gonna do a couple more laughter exercises and then we're gonna go into laughter meditation. Next up, we're gonna do roller coaster laughter. So I want you to pretend that you're on a roller coaster. And normally when you're on a roller coaster and you get to a big dip, you raise up your arms and go, ah! We're gonna raise up our arms and go, ha! Okay, ready? So unmute if you can. The more laughing, the better. Nice and loud, super loud. Okay, here we go. So we're on our roller coaster. Big breath all together. And
Yeah.
very good, very good. Yay! One more time. Very good, very good. Yay! Okay, we do one more exercise and then we'll go into our laughter meditation. So next up, we're gonna mow the grass, and this is laughter grass. So when you're cutting the grass, it starts laughing. So you can stand up and go around the room if you would like to. You're gonna hold on to your lawnmower, and every time you're cutting the grass, it's laughing. Ready? Let's grab our lawnmowers. Big breath and go. Very good, very good. Yay! Very good, very good.
Very good.
Yay.
Yay.
Good. Okay. Last thing we're going to do is laughter meditation. And this is just going to be sustained laughter. So I'm going to put out a timer and we're going to laugh for 30 seconds. Now, the great thing about that, and if you turn your camera on and unmute, it helps because we all have very different laughter faces, which can be very entertaining. So when I say go, we're going to laugh at nothing for 30 seconds. And oftentimes it transitions from voluntary laughter to a genuine laughter. Wrong for a room. Okay, here we go. So get comfy, or if you're already standing, wander around the room. And we're going to take a big breath. We're laughing at nothing. Ready? And go. Very good. Very good. Yay. One more time. Very good. Very good. Yay. Good. Okay. Go ahead and shake it out. Shake out your arms. Shake out your legs. Shake out any remaining laughter, any silliness. Take a big breath. And that's it. Thank you so much for trying that out and having fun with me. Okay, so you've learned about laughter yoga, you've learned about doing a body scan, you've learned about progressive muscle relaxation. The last thing that we just want to share out with you are some preventing burnout resources. Now, this is not our original material. This is from our employee assistance program called Claremont. They put together a cool PowerPoint presentation and some checklists and things like that. So Melissa's going to quickly go over some of the things from their PowerPoint and some self-assessments that you can take. And if you have any questions about anything that you learned today, or kind of how to follow through, how to continue some of these exercises, feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Alyssa. That was so much fun. I feel like I still have the giggles all in my body right now, and I hope all of you have some of that too. I have to say, every time I do the laughter yoga with Alyssa, it gets a little easier, and it just becomes so much fun. So encourage you to try any of these techniques we shared with you today several times, just to see what kind of sticks with you, what feels good in your body, and what resonates with you most. So I am just going to go over the Preventing Burnout resources really quickly. I believe Kirsten's going to drop the Word document handout in the chat for everyone to access. And I think it's going to go in our follow-up email as well. So just hang tight. I'll just look at the chat here. Okay, perfect. Kirsten's trying to add the files now. So there's two assessments that I thought would be helpful for us to go over, and this is through our Claremont EAP group. The first assessment is on stress. So stress is, stress can be helpful when it's helping us better focus, better concentrate on the task at hand. It can help us stretch ourselves, our potential from that kind of growth mindset. But when we have a little too much of it, it can kind of lead to feelings of overwhelm and anxious feelings and, difficult emotions. So, oh, thank you so much, Kirsten. Let's see, if you look in the chat, you can actually open. Let's see, I'm being asked to switch to an account with access. So hopefully once you request access, you can see that. I'm also happy to share my screen if that would be helpful too, but I would need, I think, co-host access or co-host abilities. Let's see here. The Word doc was dropped in here. Let's see if
You should be able to share your screen now, and then I'll work on access at the same time.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your help with that. All right, so I'm going to share my screen now. Okay. Can you all see that? Give me a thumbs up or just write in the chat, yes. You should see a document that says preventing burnout in the helping professions. Perfect, thank you. So you will get this document soon, but the second page just really kind of has an overview of stress, and maybe we're not actually feeling that much kind of negative stress right now after all of the techniques we practiced today. So, but just it's helpful to kind of check in with yourself and see what it's feeling like, where you are currently right now with your levels of stress. So this was the checklist that I wanted to go over with you all. If it's easier to just kind of view this and maybe write down on a piece of paper or in a Word doc or something that is accessible to you, you can just spend the next couple minutes checking yes or no to each of these questions. And I can just kind of scroll for you, but let's just take the next couple minutes to check this. Okay, so at the bottom here, you can count up the number of yeses to get your score. And after you count up your yeses, you can kind of see where you currently fall, whether you have little stress in your life, whether your stress level is a little bit higher and you may be experiencing tension, or if your stress level is considered high. So again, this is just for your information, just a little self-check to see where you currently stand with it. It could be helpful to kind of empower us with this knowledge so we are better equipped to respond appropriately. And you know, stress, if it is feeling higher for you, it may be important to consider developing some techniques to reduce it so that we could kind of prevent it from building upon itself and leading to burnout. You can speak with your physician about it, your counselor, your therapist, health coach, and just reflect on it within your own life too, thinking, okay, this is where I am, and what are some techniques that resonated with me today or that I know work for my own self-care that I'd like to practice more often and when. So hopefully that was a helpful little assessment. But again, stress can be helpful when it helps us out with our goals. But if we have too much, we could be overwhelmed and it could lead to burnout, which is actually a symptom of stress. It's when, the pebbles start to become rocks, start to become boulders. So burnout is a state of emotional and physical exhaustion caused by excessive and prolonged stress. So that's something we really want to work actively to prevent. Which brings us to our next assessment here. So Take a deep breath into the nose, exhale through the mouth. I know sometimes when we are learning about our own stressful states and our own triggers, it can kind of lead to some tension. So just remember, you can always kind of use your breath to ground you. And so when you're ready, you can feel free to just kind of check. You can use the paper that you're writing on before or a Word doc to just kind of put a check next to each of these that you feel kind of might be applying to you. This is just kind of a self-assessment, a check-in with where we are currently in this moment. So I'll give you the next minute to fill this one out, and I'll scroll for you. So these can feel a little heavy. Just give yourself some space and some grace when you're filling this out. These are unprecedented times we're in too. So I just want to acknowledge, stress and burnout is real for a lot of us. And we really hope to empower you and arm you with some resources that could really help you kind of find that homeostasis within yourself between the stress response and the relaxation response, because it's so important. It touches all areas of our health and well-being. And again, this is just kind of an assessment. If you've checked more than 5, it may be helpful to consider some techniques that you think would be helpful for you, and also to maybe talk about it with a health professional. So again, just an assessment. You know your body best, you know what helps you most. So I would encourage you to just tune into that intuition for ways you can really practice regularly that self-care that can help prevent getting to this place of burnout, and also kind of alleviate those symptoms if you are experiencing that. These are also some tips for stress relief, just some ideas in addition to what we practiced together today. If any of these kind of resonate with you, you can even jot them down. So I'll just let you kind of review these really quick. And there's a PowerPoint actually on preventing burnout that you will receive in an email following this class. And it is full of additional ideas for how you can best manage stress and kind of activate more of that relaxation response. So I love this last one, laugh, which we all did together, plenty of it. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. And the very last thing I would like to share is the very last slide on the PowerPoint slide that you will receive. So let me see if I could pull that up really quick here. So for our last minute together, just thinking about, reflecting on what felt good in your body today, and thinking about what would you like to keep doing that's working for you, it's serving you well, it's helping you with your mental well-being goals and physical well-being goals. What would you like to start doing that you think would be helpful? And then lastly, what would you like to stop doing? Oftentimes we have so many things on our plate. There are maybe some things we can release that are no longer serving us. So just a reflective activity. This is all for you. It's all just kind of what you think would be most helpful for you moving forward. And I just want to thank you so much again for inviting Alyssa and me to the self-care series. And we just had so much fun with you. And we hope you came away with some useful tips and tricks for self-care. And we look forward to the next one.
Huge thank you to you, Melissa, and to you, Alyssa. Thank you so much for being here and for leading us through such meaningful and impactful exercises. Thank you to everyone who came as well. You'll receive all of the resources and the recording in a follow-up email, and you can email me with any questions. I'll put my email in the chat. Thank you again.
Thank you for having us. Good to see everyone.